Hello everyone. In this video, we will see how teachers can configure online examination. Now, as you can see on screen, this is how you log in to dashboard. Using your individual login username and password. First, you need to open the URL web.vawsum.com. Once it opens, you need to put in your username and password to log in. Once you log in, this is how you get to see your screen. Now there you will find an option as examination because you have this examination. In order to configure that, you have the examination module in your login. Now there are three broad categories of examination. First is manage questions, where you can create question papers, right? And manage the question papers, add questions, delete questions, edit questions. All these you can do under manage questions, right? Once questions are completed and done, then you need to create examinations. Create examinations goes for, till what time the examinations would be conducted, what is whether it will be time bound or not, when it will start. So these configurations panel we considered it in examinations, under examinations, right? And the third category would be reports. So after the questions are generated, examinations are created, questions are published, students have appeared. This is where you get to see different other reports. So we will see the brief understanding on each category. So we start with manage questions. Now manage questions has import questions. Now when I click on import questions, this page displays certain instructions, on-screen instructions. These are few basic instructions, and we request you to please adhere to this, such as while uploading bulk questions in Excel, there are certain things like mandatory fields in red in color are mandatory to put in. Questions that you can type using the standard keyboard can be entered here, right? So if it is multilingual that you wish to publish the questions in native language or different language, say for example Hindi or local language, you can do that apart from English. So in by default it will remain in English. So if your keyboard supports in multilingual version, you can go for it, right? Now there are a few other instructions, so we'll see both of it. See, one, we have import MCQ questions, and the other one would be import subjective questions, right? So descriptive and MCQ both can be done from a single page. Now this we have a bulk upload page over here, the bulk upload option. In bulk upload, what we can do, we can upload it via Excel. Now once you click on this download Excel button, this is how the Excel opens up with the headers like this: question body, score, hint, answer explanation, then option 1, option 2, option 3, and followed by their respective correct answers. So we'll mark which one would be the correct answer. So as you can see, we have some predefined examples ready for you. For it, it'll be easy for you to understand. So say for example, what is the SI unit of force? There are three questions. Now, what is the SI unit of force? Now we have option 1 as Newton, option 2 as Joule, option 3 as Pascal, option 4 as Watt, and we also have option till 6 options you can add in, right? So it goes like MCQs. Now similar goes for question number 2 and 3 as well. We have certain answers for it, and for correct options, say for example for question number 1, uh, for question number 1. So what is the SI unit of force? We see here the correct option would be Newton. So what we do under option 1, correct, we put in as 0. So similarly, for second question, which of the following is a noble gas? Now option 3, we consider it as to be the correct answer, right? So we put it as 1. Now the rest which are not the correct options, you can either put in 0 besides all those, or you can leave it as blank. Okay, so any one you can go for. So you can leave it as blank, the best choice. It's up to you. Now from here you can set the scores as 2, 5. So if it is the same, you can put the scoring over here. We have other option as well, other place from where you can also set the uh, scores for each question. Okay, so we'll see to it. So this is how you upload multiple choice questions, objective questions, and also at the same time the subjective questions. Let's see how the subjective question looks like in Excel. See, because it is subjective question, so you have this question body, score, answer explanation is not needed. And now for write or copy paste, so if you want the student to write within the app, so you put it as uh, write, or if you allow the student to student to upload the file using his question set. So from there, what you can do, you can mention it as 1, right? Or if you want, so what you can do is the student can write on a piece of paper and scan it and upload a file. So that way you can upload, the student can upload a file. Similarly, in-app writing option, you can mark it as 1. So now the all and the word limit can be set from here itself. So in-app word limit, if you allow in-app in-app option for the student to write in the subjective answers, then word limit you can set from here. Now this goes for the subjective and both MCQ type questions, right? Now there is one major observation over here. One request, please keep a note that while uploading the Excel file, if it is downloaded for import MCQ questions, please click on the choose file button for MCQ questions itself, right? To avoid any confusion. So please don't, upload the file under subjective. So MCQ questions goes for MCQ upload, subjective questions goes for subjective questions. Now we also have other options in case if it is needed. So we have uh, separate pages for adding questions for objective and subjectives, but this is on-screen question typing. Right now, if you click here, let me just show you the glimpse how you can do it. So if you click here, this option manage questions, and then we went for add objective question, right? As you can see, this page opens. Now over here, what you can do is, see over here, you have this question segment and then option segment. So this is the question segment, this is the option segment. Now in question segment, you can put in the question. Now here you will have this option of formatting the question in also. In case you wish to put in something in bold, you can do that. Say for example, you this question over here. Now you have this option to bold this. This is how it will reflect. So all these formatting options are there. And also, if there is any question which includes images, right? If there is any question that include images, you can use this option of insert image option. So you have a shortcut over here, insert edit or image, right? You can also do that by clicking this option. Okay. Over here, you need not have to actually mention anything, any source or anything. It will come by default. All you need to do is to mention the width as 480. That's it. Because every image would have its own resolution, size and all. By default, it will capture 480 is a standard size, right? So here are different other options depending on your requirement. You can check for it, or you can leave it. All are optional. These are not mandated, but this weight, if it is an image, you can mention it as 480. And you click on save, it will get saved, right? So these options, you have text alignments and everything. So this is also how you can set the question. And here are the options from where you can add options. That we are done with the question paper. I mean question set. From here you can start adding options. Now this is option 1. You have this button add new option. You click further. It will give you further options to add new option. Below it you have add new question option to add new question, as you can see on screen. So likewise you can add multiple questions over here on screen. And also you need not have to like question in the Excel format. For correct answers, you have to mention one for each correct answer. So over here, you need not have to mention any one, anything on that note. Rather, you can click on this correct checkbox. So whichever answer you find it feasible and the correct answer, all you need to do is to ensure that you click on this correct checkbox. If two answers are correct, then you can set multiple options. Radio type MCQ can't have the multiple correct answer, right? So depends on how the question is about, right? Now, so this as it is considered to be MCQ, so you can have this option of correcting, clicking on this correct checkbox. Now, there is one settings. If you click on this settings, question type you can select from here, multiple choice and then radio buttons, checkbox. If you select checkbox, then you will find this option to select multiple answers at the same time. Maybe two answers are correct for one question, or maybe single option, then it is fine. Now you also have this select tag option. These are not mandate again. If there is any negative marking, you can set that from here, right? If there is any partial marking, you have this option to mark it as contains partial mark, or you can get the scores, get a fixed score over here, like 2 for each question. So for each question, you can set the score from here also, right? So this is the control panel. Over here, you can set the score and control from here for these questions. So by now we have seen how to add questions. So we are still in questions. So one, we have seen a separate panel, dedicated panel for add objective question, and also import questions from where you can download the Excel format and can upload multiple questions at one go. Now we will see how to add these questions with the class sections and to configure the instructions and rules of the questions, right? So we go to the second option here, the second category, which is examinations. So under examinations, we have this create examinations option. So we click on create examination, right? Now, the moment we click on this create examination, this is a page which appears. You can click on add examination. Now, the moment we click on add examination, now this is where you can start generating one examination. Like for example, JE sample test 2. Here you can put in some description of the examination. This is not a mandate, but still it gives a good look and feel to the user or the students, right? Okay. Now there is one option, can attempt multiple times. Now this is for practice and for piloting purpose. Now if you need to ensure that you keep it unchecked for the students to appear. Otherwise, what happen? This question can be attempted multiple times by the student. So it is not required. Now announcement date. Announcement date is nothing but the role it plays in terms of school notices. So in a school notice board, what you can see that on a certain date, this examination is going to be conducted, right? Or commence, or it will be conducted on certain date. So it will only publish that particular date. So this would not mean that the person can, I want to get it reflected starting tomorrow, but that would not mean that tomorrow students can appear this exam or test. It is only for reflection purpose, right? So this is an announcement date. So what I can do, I can select it 18th 06. So you have a date picker. You can actually check it from here, right? Now tomorrow is 18th, so you can select 18th. So 18 June is selected. Now allow screen capture, it's an option, right? So screen capture means screenshot. If you do not allow, you can keep it uh, unchecked. If you click on this, so students would have this option and opportunity to take screenshots and maybe intercirculates and or whatever means. So it is always recommended to keep it unchecked, right? Now there are few settings, as you remember, we discussed that there are few ways, multiple ways that you can uh, say, give scores to the questions. So this is another place from where you can also set the scores. So for objective settings, we'll come to this strict close on end time option a little later, right? So we'll understand it better. Now for objective settings, you can mark it each objective questions carries same score. You can click here. First, you need to activate this by checking this checkbox. Now each objective question carries same score. If you click on this and type in 2, say for example, all question would be considered with scoring of 2 marks each, right? If you don't want to, maybe you wish to keep the scoring different for each questions. So you remember the panels, on-screen panel and both in Excel. So here also you can mark different scores for different questions. Or you have this other option, on-screen option, add option. From here you can set the scores. We have another place also from where you can set the scores, right? Now diff scores, we will see to that. We will look into it. If it is negative marking, you have this option, and negative mark same for all. You also have this option to set the control from here. However, if you set it from here, you have this option to mention the negative marking score. How much should be the negative marking, right? But please understand this, if you set it from here, this would remain common for all the questions. Similar options for subjective settings. So this covers the above part covers the general settings for objectives and subjective questions. The second half, as we can see, let's see what all instructions are there. I mean, rules can attempt from. Okay. Now this is a date on which the exam would be conducted. Say for example, the exam should is scheduled to be conducted on 23rd of June. So I mentioned 23rd. What would be the start time? So here you can mention the start time. Say for example, from 10 a.m. you wish to uh, 00 second, 00 minute and 00 second, right? From 10 you wish to start this exam, and this is 24 hours calculation. Now you have this option to set it as 16 as well, right? So if you mention it as 10 means 10 a.m., right? Can attempt till, so for how long the question would be there? So for 23rd itself, after 23rd it would be moved off, right? Now, when is the end time of the examination? So end time is the time till when a person can attempt, right? Or a student is allowed to attempt. Say for example, the examination starts commence from 10 a.m. till 10:15. I mean, students are allowed to enter and attempt the question. After 10:15, no one would be allowed to enter the examination hall or the exam, right? It is that way. So this is a cutoff time to enter the examination. Now, whether it is time bound, yes, of course, it is time bounded. And for duration of this examination, so it is, say, for example, 45 minutes, right? So 45, 00:00. So it is for 45, sorry, this should be hours. So here it will be 00. Here it will be 45 minutes and then 00, right? So this is the duration of the examination. Now let's come back quickly to this previous option. Remember, we mentioned strict close on end time, right? So strict close on end time, if I check here, now what will happen is, say for example, a student entered at around 10:15. So from 10:15, that student would have the option till 30 minutes from 10:15. Student comes in at 10, maybe 10:25. So from 10:25, that student would have 30 minutes to complete this examination. Now, if we mark this checkbox, strict close on end time, so what will happen, even if the student maybe checks in around 10:14, so they would not get any additional 30 minutes count from the starting time. Sharp by 10:45, right, the exam would end. So irrespective of the fact that the student has entered little late, they would not get any additional leverage of the entire time frame or time bound, the entire time for the schedule for the test or the examination. So it will get end, it will auto turn off as per the scheduled time. So for 45 minutes in total. It is not that when the student has entered to and started the examination, right? Few more controls. Auto submit on app switch. Now at times, as we ensure that no to ensure the hygiene factors during the examination, to avoid any sort of malpractice or any cheatings. So we introduce this auto submit app on app switch option. So if it is a application, if the student is appearing from using the mobile phone, so they would not get any option because it has been introduced during the COVID days, right? So we have this option, we have every different option and the vigilance check at every layer. So auto submit on app switch is there. If the school wants, they can check on this, and maybe for some reason they need to switch it. Even for login, they have to switch in, switch the app for a moment, for once. So you can have this option for once the student is allowed to swap the, switch the screen or switch the app, they will not get logged out. But if it is more than once, then it will auto log off. Okay. And we have this unique option of shuffle questions. So if you put a check on this checkbox for shuffle questions. Now for me, it will be question one would be there for me, but for the other person, for the other student, that in one might not remain in question one. It will get changed to question five, right? So shuffling, auto shuffling would be there. We have this option for, can the student go to the previous page, previous question? Yes, that option is given. If you do not check this, put a check on this box, then maybe uh, while appearing for the attempting the questions, if I leave a question for the last moment to submit for during the revision time, or maybe the one which I get easier to complete, I attempt that first and then wish to come back, the student would not be able to do that unless we put a check on this checkbox. Okay. So this is ideally how is the control of this panel. Just to summarize, okay, there is one more, instructions. So just commencing the test, before commencing the test, how the instructions should come. So you can put it like this. So this is how it would appear just before commencing the test. The instructions would be there. Say, for example, the total duration of examination is 1 hour. There are certain general instructions, right? So you can like this. Okay. You are allowed to attempt only one section at a time, physics, chemistry, mathematics. Each section contains MCQs and numerical values. So this is just for an example. So do not refresh or close the browser window during the test. Now, all these instructions would appear in front of the screen to the students just as the student gets in and commences the examination. If you wish to add new instructions, you have this plus button over here. You can set that. So broadly, if we have to summarize this panel, this create examination, so we have three broad categories: general settings for objectives, objective settings and subjective settings. If we wish to control it, set the equal scoring for all questions, we can do that from here. If we wish to set it from a different panel from the Excel, handle it from the Excel, we can do that as well. And we have other options and other controls, few other controls are also over here. You can please go through it once you try to set the questions. Once, I mean, for few couple of occasions, if you try setting up the questions, this will be very easy for you to handle, right? Now, these are instruction and control pages. You can set your own instructions over here, right? As per the school policy. Now, once you are done filling up and setting all this information, the green button you can click ahead. You can click on save and next. As you see on the bottom right corner, you have this save and next option. So you click on this option. It's prompting, are you sure you want to proceed by not adding score? If yes, then add the scores to the question separately. So we are comfortable with this. Click on yes and see it gives us a prompt success. examination created successfully. Now here is the page from where you can map the respective classes for the students. I mean, for the students appearing attempting for the questions. So you have both the options from subject level mapping, and this is for the generic classes. You further have this option of mentioning class 1, 2, 3, or 4. So see, the moment you select the classes, so this map classes get increased, the count, it starts showing this count over here, right? So this is how, and you have further drop downs to it. You can select it section wise also, right? So you have this option. On your right, you see group mapping. Now these are few customized custom groups that's been created, special groups, say for example, for joint entrance on your school. This we are looking at a demonstration school, right? For demonstration purpose. In your school, you would find the relevant diaries or groups created, which you can select accordingly. Okay. So if you select those, the automatically the student would get mapped, or the class, that particular class would get mapped. Now, once that is mapped, what you can do, you can click on next. Okay. So let's go one step back, and we select like this. It is for demonstration purpose. So it looks like there are no students in this custom diary group mapping. So that is one of the reasons. So once you are done, you click on save and next, right? Then your examination mapped successfully. You click on OK, and then you land onto this particular page. See, examination mapping for JEE sample test 2. Okay, and you have this listing of questions over here, right? Now the questions are all mapped to the classes and the students. So now you can set scoring from here also. Remember, you can also set the scoring from here. Say for example, mapping status, you click on, please ensure that you click on these check boxes for multiple choice questions. And the scoring part, you have this option to set the scoring different for each questions. So apart from Excel, this is another place from where you can set different scores for different other questions. If it is of common in nature, say for equal marks for all the questions, so you can set it from the control panel itself, which we have just observed few minutes back. You have this edit option, you can edit the question, right? You have these options over here. You can also see going forward down the line, maybe we are using it on the second year, right? Second session. So you have this option once these questions are generated, we have these options of academic years. From a question bank automatically gets stored in your system. So the next time you do, you need not have to prepare a new set altogether. You can always take a reference from the older academic sessions, the question papers. So say for example, at that time, you might need not have to select all the questions. You add few new questions, you mix it up with few old questions. Question shuffling, what we call it as, right? So this way you have this option of edit also at the same time. On your right, as you can see, extreme right for this question, just as just beside the delete button, you have this option of select editing a question. Extreme right under filter, right? Now once we are done with this scoring part, right, you can click on save. Now the questions are mapped successfully with the examinations. So this is how precisely you can create questions, then you can create instructions and create rules, and at the same time followed by mapping students, okay, with the class and section. Now this is how you can do. You have this on-screen segment where you can set questions individually, you can add images if there are any questions with images, right? So you have this edit option for formatting option for each questions, and broadly for each individual questions, if you wish to set different scores, you can make use of this Excel, right? Or if you wish to set common uh, string for each question, you can set it from the control panel, which is create examination. Now, the moment you click on create examination, see, if you open this page, create examination, this gives you an option, add examination. You can click on add examination, and this is how the control panel opens up. And if you click here and put in the scoring over here, say common scoring for all the questions, so you put 2 or 5, that would be considered common as for all the questions, right? Now, there is a small thing. Once you are done with creating questions, creating examinations, I mean, the control of each examinations with rules and regulations. Once you are done with all those, with the scoring updates, you are done. All you need to do is to go to this create examination page back again, find your question. So say for example, JEE sample 2, which we just created. Please click on publish. The moment you click on publish, it will give you a prompt. Are you sure you want to publish JEE sample test 2? You click on yes. This will give you a preview. What are the questions that has been set, right? If you are sure of this thing, see the marks are yet to be set 0. So you need to set the marks for each questions, right? And you can go back and you edit the marks, for example. So once you are done and click on save, you click on publish. So state updated successfully. Now students would be able to see all these questions on the commencing exam date. So exam date is when? 23rd of June. But 18th onwards is what is your announcement date. 18th onwards, it will start reflecting that there is a examination which is scheduled for 23rd of June, right? So, but they won't be able to see the detail of the questions though. That will only be reflected on 23rd of June. Okay. Here you have all this report of when it has been created, what is the full marks, created by whom, what is the teacher's date, a teacher's name, right? What is the type of assessment, whatever set, I mean, whatever configuration that you have done, all is visible over here, right? Now, let's quickly have a look on the report pages, right? So I have all of it open for you. So broadly, we have under examination, manage questions, examinations, and then reports. So we have covered manage questions and examinations to fire, and we understood how to map the students or the classes with the examination. Now let's see quickly what all reports that we have over here now. So the report includes, say for example, which student of which class using which login has logged in, and what is the full marks, obtained marks. So for example, this student, say for example, this Abhi demo has appeared for half yearly examination, and the marks obtained is 6. Total question was 9. Questions attempted 7. Correct answers, the student got 4 correct answers with wrong answers 3. And it was not an auto submit, it was manual submit by click by the student itself. So all reports would be here. If you click the further audit reports, so at times, as I mentioned, that we have introduced it during the COVID days, we had to make it all vigilance proof, so that we need to ensure that there's the student should get a ambience and feel and look of actual examination or physical experience when they appear school to appear the examination and the test. So all such reports is available here. So as you can see on screen, whoever is showing present considered to be have attempted the question, and showing absent are yet to be attempting the question, are yet to attempt, right? Now over here, if you click on attempt details, so if you click on attempt details, this will give you a brief when has how many times it has been clicked, when it has been clicked, because a student might come up to you and say that, okay, no, I haven't clicked on that day and time, it was not clicked. So every detail, every footprint of the student is all available over here. See, this is a examination resume report. So if it has been resumed by pausing it, it will all reflect. If you click further, so what has been the activity during the examination, switch app, all is available from here. And equally, for each question, the correct answers, how many correct answers been submitted, total users map, user attempts twice, correct, wrong, blank submit, correct percentage. So every detail would be here in under the report section. So all these are glimpse of, say, for example, later a student is, you need to add a student with an examination. So how you can do that? So we have this uh, user examination mapping under examinations, right? So we have this three segment: manage questions, examination, and reports. Now, if you click on examinations and click on user examination mapping, so this is how it appears, user mapping. Now, the moment it comes, the page opens, you can select the examination name, and you select the subject of the examination. You select this class, section, and accordingly it would auto reflect the entire students. Now, in case you find, say, Pritam Mandal is unchecked, who has been added later, you need to click on this checkbox and click on save mapping. See, on the bottom right corner you have this option, save mapping, bottom right corner. If you click here, this particular student can be added back to the existing examination. So this is broadly how you can create examination, create uh, questions, create examinations, and then followed by reports. So hopefully this would ensure that you can create the examinations at your own comfort, and please reach us for any of our assistance. Thank you.